My name is Toms Knostenbergs. I'm co-founder at Master Packager. For more than a decade, I worked as an application packager, and yeah, we realized that organizations and really world needs more affordable professional application packaging software. And this is what we actually set a goal and created. Yeah.
So yeah, my name is Edijs Perkums. I was working as an application packager for the past 10 years, and during that time I created about 8,500 silent installation packages. And I would say about half of them were using PSADT. So we really love PSADT and we recommend for everyone to use it. And so let's begin. For those who do not know what is PSADT. So PSADT is an open source PowerShell framework that allows you to streamline and standardize your software deployments. So it has a lot of pre-built functions that allow you to display a user interface to close the applications that are running, to notify the user to restart their computer, or even customize the application itself. You can, for example, apply per user registries to all users even from the system account installation. And everything will be logged, which is really important when you have to troubleshoot your applications. So if you have always the log file in the same place, it's really, really useful. The next thing is that it will have a localized user interface, meaning that your end users will see the messages in their own language if their Windows language is different. So that makes it a lot user-friendlier. You can also customize the branding according to your organization's needs. Add your own custom logo and make it more familiar for your end users. And it is used by thousands of companies worldwide, so we trust it and everybody else trusts it. This is how PSADT V3 looked like. It was released when Windows 7 was the latest operating system. As you can see from the UI, it's quite outdated. And due to the need to have backwards compatibility, which is excellent in PSADT, they couldn't use the latest capabilities. So in December of 2024, they released V4 around 7 months ago. And as you can see already from the UI, how it looks like, it's a lot more modern and much more polished than it was before. But the changes are not only in the user interface. So what exactly is new in V4? What's different? So as you saw, there is the new Fluent user interface, but you can still use the classic UI if you want to. There is the ability to have the classic user interface with still all the new capabilities. Now it is a digitally signed PowerShell module that you can download from the PS Gallery or from the GitHub releases page. The code base was completely refactored and optimized for security and performance reasons. They added PowerShell 7 support. They removed all the reliance on VBScript-based code because VBScript is deprecated by Microsoft now. C# code is now compiled and signed, which is better for security. Before they had non-compiled C# code inside of the PowerShell script, so now it is more secure. As well, they added an immutable command lookup table, so that means that you cannot spoof the commands. Even if you have the same function name, it will still use the one within the module and is better for security. As well as, thanks to Patch My PC, they now offer commercial support, which they did not have before. So a lot of companies look for support, especially commercial support available, so they know that their products will be supported in time, and now it is available with V4. So what changed exactly in the usage of PSADT? They renamed the main executable and script. It was called deployApplication.exe. Now it's called invoke application, PSAppDeployToolkit.exe. The reason is that deploy is not an approved PowerShell verb. Everything that they changed, they made it according to best practices using PowerShell, using all the approved verbs, etc. So they moved from the storing the configuration inside of XML to PSD1 files, multiple PSD1 files. Once again, this is a best practice in PowerShell to use the PSD1 files instead of the XMLs. They also renamed all the functions with ADT prefixes, so you do not have collisions, and it's more clear for users which function is actually a native PowerShell function and which is part of the AppDeployToolkit. As well, in V3, there were quite a lot of functions that used Boolean parameters instead of switches. So you had to read the documentation because you couldn't remember every place where it used a Boolean parameter and where it used a switch. Now it's all with switches and makes it easier for you to remember. They as well standardized the error handling by using the error action parameter. Before they were relying on custom parameters such as continue on error, etc. Now it's all according to best practices. And they removed the PSADTisms, as Mitch likes to call them, from the PSADT team. So what that means is that they try to remove the things that were custom for PSADT. They removed all the filter scripts, replaced all the custom scripts, custom filters with filter scripts that are the correct way to handle in PowerShell, as well as they removed the, what it was called, forgot it, so let's continue. Sorry about that. Yeah, and now they are still actively working on it. 4.1 will be coming out in the next month or so, but don't quote me on that. That's what it's publicly available information. So what will be new then? There are still a lot of changes that will change in 4.1. So start ADT process was completely rewritten because they still had some issues waiting on child processes. So there were cases where it would get stuck. They also fixed start ADT process as user. So this is a really handy function. It allows you to run processes in the user context even from the system installation. So for example, if you deploy something through Intune, it will be running in the system context, and you want to remove an app that was installed by the user. So it's quite difficult to get it running in the user context, but this function helps you with it. They also refactored the PSADT DLL and decreased the project size by 50%, so it's even smaller now. And the biggest change, in my opinion, will be this one, the next one, that you will not need to use Service UI anymore. Service UI is an EXE that is a part of Microsoft Deployment Toolkit that allows you to display user interface even from an Intune deployment. Because Intune does not support interaction by default, you will not see any windows during the installation. So you had to use Service UI to get it to interact with the system. And now the UI code will be running in the user context. And this means that you will not need a Service UI anymore, and it will be more secure. As well as they added some missing features that were not implemented initially in V4, such as the countdown or deferral deadlines. They will be added back now to the Fluent UI. So what's also new in the UI? You can now select a custom accent color. Before in 4.0, it was only based on your Windows team. So if that color really clashed with your logo or your branding, then now you can force the color to be different. They also added support for italic, bold, and accented colors in the text. So this is something that I had to do quite often when I was still packaging. People would request, I want this message in bold and I want it in a different color. And it was quite difficult to do it. Everything had to be custom written. They also added a UI element that allows you to read the user input. So you can read the input that the user specifies, and then you can get it in a variable and do something with it inside your installation. They also changed the dialog position. By default, it was only bottom right. So now you can choose either center or top center. And as well, they added the group policy templates. It's already supported actually in 4.0. But you do not have the templates yet. You just have the support for them. So why is this useful? This can be useful, for example, if you decided to not go to the new UI, but you wanted to use the new features, and you packaged your apps with the classic UI. And now you decide, okay, I finally want to move to the Fluent UI. You can just apply the group policy, and all your packages will be updated without you manually changing each one of them. So you can change other things such as the logging location, basically anything that you can configure in the PSADT settings. As well as there are many other small fixes that they have done. They have decreased the issue page to 1, to count to 1. And if you still have any issues, you can create them on their GitHub page, or you can join the WinAdmin's Discord server. They have a PSAppDeployToolkit channel where the team is very active and they are very open to feedback and your testing. So, and because it's open source, you can even fix it yourself if you have any changes that you want to do. So here you can see how it will look like, the 4.1. Notice the accented text, the different color, the bold, the italic, and at the bottom you can see how the countdown timer will look like. So it will continue the installation after the countdown completes, and you can see the deferral deadline at the bottom. And here are some of the new accented colors, how they will look like. My theme was a blue color. These are custom forced colors. And at the bottom, you can see how the new input window will look like.
Okay, so a lot of changes. And how do we know about these changes? Because we build on top of PSAppDeployToolkit a UI that we will show you in a minute. This is the screenshot from my desktop that I found myself when packaging before we created master wrapper that we will show you right now. Usually we use Notepad++, Visual Studio Code to edit the PS1 script. Then we read the documentation, see how it works, and hope we will not make typos and understood the documentation. What is the name? So we looked on installed apps. Then, of course, we need to push to the Intune. So we need the icon, we need description. And even then, if something is missing, there is, as Eddie's mentioned, WinAdmin's Discord group where developers from the PSADT team actually hang around and will answer different questions. So it's a good place to be and ask questions and see any news. So we learn a lot of things there as well, and from the official GitHub page, you can see all these changes, what Eddie's just mentioned you, all these changes you can actually see yourself, and anyone, yeah. Yeah, and it takes time when you have to work with such a desktop. So what we created is a master wrapper. And the goal here was to make the packaging faster. We, as a packagers back in the day, needed to package really fast with no issues. So another thing, I don't like to read documentation. Maybe that's my thing only, but and this is the result, what we have created. A few benefits from this. So friendly user interface. The goal was, again, that even team member without PowerShell knowledge could go through it and create a solid package. Another thing, what we see also now talking with a lot of organizations is standardization. So there's usually one person that do the packaging, and if that person leaves, then everyone is scratching their heads. So if everything is standardized, you can get new team members in really quickly. And from our experience packaging, again, thousands of packages for different high quality requested organizations, we have developed a flow how we see packaging process should happen, and using the wrapper you can actually go through that flow. Yeah, and again, it saves time. Previously we opened previous packages where we used some command line, copied it, and if you have to run, apply and install multiple installers, it really takes time, and we wanted to fix that issue as well. Another thing is source of truth. So you get the package, you package it, but then you have some information. Who is the owner of that package? Who is the packager? What is the documentation? What is the license key? All that can be stored through the wrapper in one place, and anyone who will open it as well, open in Intune, will see that information if you decide to collect that. So source of truth. And yeah, and through the master wrapper, we collect icon, description, categories for Intune is coming in next release in a few weeks. So all that information will be collected in one place. So when you upload to Intune, you can do it with just one click. The flow, what we designed, looks like this. And you can see here multiple master packager applications. We have 4 of them. One is for editing MSIs. One is for repackaging poor quality or non-silent installer existing EXEs into MSI. Toolbox that helps you then identify how you want to package something. Like you can see here, you always start with the application, and then we have designed a toolbox application with one of the utilities. It's called installed apps. It shows all the applications installed on your virtual machine, for example, and it can help you determine if there is an MSI or if it's EXE, or how many installers actually the vendor installed with that one EXE, how many installers it unpacked. And that can help you identify one of the 4 packaging roads you can take, like vendor deployment solutions like Autodesk, non-silent EXE, so no way how to install it silently. So then you would use the repackager, or if it's a vendor MSI, you just create an MST file, right? Or if you have just files, binaries, you can again drag and drop them into master packager and build a MSI for it. But nonetheless, everything goes through the master wrapper, even if you have one single MSI. And you would say, like, why should I do it? It's an extra step. But in the long term, it's getting standardized, and yeah, all the packaging tasks stays in the packaging phase, and when you deploy to Intune, the Intune person, or if you are the same in that stage, you only think about things to where to deploy, not regarding what kind of icon should I use or what is this application about when uploading to Intune and what kind of description should I use. All that stays in packaging process. And the final step is, of course, uploading to the Intune, again using Master Packager Toolbox. We have multi-tenant support, standardization, saving the upload settings as well. So again, you do it once, and next time you just drag and drop it, press upload, and yeah, packages into Intune. So now it's time to see how it works in a live demo.
Yep, give me a second. Okay, that seems to be working. Great. So let's open up Master Wrapper. I hope the scaling is fine and you can see everything. Okay, so we start from the beginning. You can choose which template you want to use. By default, there are 2 templates for V4 and V3 because they are quite different. They use different functions, and for people moving to V4, it's quite a lot of changes to get used to how to use it.
But by the way, I don't think we mentioned is that V3 is officially out of support. So you should think about moving to V4 as soon as possible. So if you would ask the development team of PSADT, yeah, they will say it's out of support. Try to get to V4 as soon as possible. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And you can also add your custom templates, but for today we're just going to use the default template. So let's choose the V4. Let's open it up. So you will be greeted with the general section that requires you to fill in all the installation metadata, such as the name, version, publisher, etc. You have to add a logo. By default, PSADT does not require a logo. This will be used for Intune. So we can just click on the load data from installer, choose our installer. So in this case, to make it easier, just use our own installer, MSI. So it will load all the metadata from the MSI. Then we can move on to the deployment. So These are settings that are part of the PSADT. By default, it will suppress 3010 exit code, so it will not return 3010 because that could, for example, reboot your PC if you're running in a task sequence. So that's a bit legacy, but still there. As well as you can set it to terminal server mode if you're working on RDS, Citrix servers. We can specify the installation mode. By default, it will check if the session is interactive, then it will display the user interface. If it's not interactive, it will not try to, for example, display the some user interface and get stuck. You can also add a detection key that will be used for Intune detection. We support either registry or script detection. And here at the bottom, we can see the additional information. So the information URL is read automatically if you're using an MSI, if it has it. And the notes, as Thomas mentioned, you can add some notes for your colleagues that will be visible inside of the Intune portal. This will not be visible inside the company portal, so this is not for end users. This is for your colleagues, your fellow admins. So you can write a ticket number there. You can write documentation URL, how you use the package.
Number or
whatever
needed for the top.
Let's just fill something in. And one more thing that I forgot to mention is the description. So this is the description that will be visible in company portal. So application to package.
Yeah, and this is something you would know when you're packaging this. What we see sometimes, there's packager just making sure it installs silently, and then there is an Intune person that will scratch his head and thinking what should be the correct description there. So, yeah.
So when we move on to the main actions, here we can see already that the installer was added to the main actions. So this is where you put all your installers and all your installation logic. We have 3 sections: install, uninstall, and repair. And all of these support IntelliSense, and the module is imported automatically, so you will be able to use it the same as a VS Code editor. So we move on to the pre-actions. So once again, we have 3 stages. So before installation, before uninstallation, and before repair. Here you can specify a progress bar. If you have a long-running installation, you can specify to add the welcome window. So the welcome window is the one that will ask you to close your running applications if they are running during the installation. You can modify the countdown, make it longer or shorter. Specify if windows should be minimized. Some people like this, some people don't. So basically, when it pops up the window, it will minimize everything else, so they just focus on that window. And one cool thing that I didn't mention is that PSADT will not show you the windows if you are currently presenting, for example. If you are in a meeting and you're presenting, then it will actually detect that and it will not show you and interrupt you. So we can also allow the user to defer the installation, or we can add a custom prompt. So for example, you can say, Office will be installed. Please do not open any Office applications while this is happening. Then we move on to the post actions. Here you can specify a restart prompt. You can set it to have a countdown or not have a countdown. And as well, we can add some custom message saying that the installation is finished or whatever you want. So as well as we have the upgrade section. So this allows you to easily upgrade the previous versions. If you have the same application installed many times with many different versions, you can use the remove MSI using product name function. So just load your MSI. You can add filters. So for example, if you would like to upgrade only 32-bit Java installations, you could add a filter as well to only uninstall 32-bit apps and leave the 64-bit apps. So let's add that. And if we go inside the script editor, so here you will see the full script, how it looks like, what changes were done. At the variable section, we will see all the metadata, the name, the vendor, the version that we filled in at the beginning. And if we go down, here we see the install and uninstall. Can it be seen? Okay. Uninstall and repair functions. So nothing is hidden. Everything that we did, this is just code, but it makes you, allows you to do it much quicker than writing the code each time yourself. As well as we have a script explorer here. So we added a new feature called Script Builder that allows you to do some things a lot quicker. For one example being applying registries. You doing that with PSADT requires you to write one line for each registry key or value that you want to set, so it takes time. So we added a function that allows you just to browse a reg file, and it will generate the code for you, and you can just copy it to your clipboard and paste it where you want, and it will by default generate to remove only the names, and if you want to remove the whole keys, you can just select it, and it will do it automatically, as easy as that. We also have support for snippets. So snippets are little parts of code that you can use often. So in this example, we have created a snippet that allows you to remove a desktop shortcut. So you can add the things that you do often in here, and it will be much easier for you to add the code, not to try to remember how to do it, read the documentation again, just save it in a snippet and apply it each time. And you can change the settings where the snippets are saved. For example, you could share these with your colleagues and put it on a network share, and everybody would have the same snippets available to them. As well as we have the built-in snippets that come in with VS Code. So these are useful as well, and you can see those here. And one tip I can give you is that the snippets use TextMate syntax. So that means that they have advanced functionality, not just pasting code, but they can, for example, jump to specific places in the code when you press tab. So if you open some of the existing built-in snippets, you can see that they use these $sign and curly brackets and special symbols to add this additional functionality. So this is really useful, and you can add this in your own custom snippets as well. So if I would type my snippet name, then I just press tab. So as you can see, it has already selected the shortcut name. So I can just type the shortcut name and move on with it. So this is really a great time saver.
Yeah, Eddie's previously packaged 60, 70 or more packages per month, so these kind of things makes a huge difference if speed is really important. Not everywhere, but...
Yeah, time is money.
Yeah.
So yeah, if we move on to the configuration section, so this is where you can customize everything that was inside the configuration XML or in the PSD1 files. Now, we can customize the branding, we can set a different icon, and all of the other toolkit options that are available are here, and all of this can be modified, changed, and according to your requirements. So, moving on, we have the digital signature as well. We support either trusted signing or signing with a PFX file or with this thumbprint. So if you require your PowerShell scripts to be signed, just enter the details here, enable it, and each time you save your package, it will be digitally signed, and you will not have to remember to do it each time. And finally, here we have the templates feature. So if you have your own template, existing one, you can add an existing, or you can save this project as a template. So that is done. Let me save our package.
Yeah, if you are MSPs then and package for multiple customers, you create for each customer your own PSAppDeployToolkit template in master wrapper, and then when you start the project, you choose which template you want to choose, and that's it. And another thing is that you can save these templates again on network share. So everyone in your company, when the template is updated, actually can see the latest updated version. So again, there is no, so everything is standardized.
Okay, when you save it, it will ask you to open the files folder, so you can put your installers inside the files folder. So let me just drag and drop it. Where's the control key? And let me just quickly run it for the people that do not know how it looks like, how it works. And usually I would suggest for everybody to test from the system account using PSAexec, but to save time I will just run it using the admin. So here we can see that we have our icon applied. We can see that it has detected that the application is running. So we can just press close the apps. It has closed our application. Now it will be installing. We did not add a progress bar, so we cannot see when it's done. So it should be done by now. So the next step would be to get the package into Intune. So all that you have to do is right-click the executable, press the PSADT to Intune Win context menu, and it will create an Intune Win file for you automatically. But in the next version of Master Packager Toolbox, we want to remove this step and allow you to upload the package directly, and we will do it behind the scenes, even further reducing unnecessary steps for you. So looks like it's still installing, but it's fine, so let's wait a bit. So the last part is to get the Intune Win file to Intune, and as you can see, it saves it with the data that was inside the package itself. It does not have the default Intune Win name, so you have the vendor, the name, the version.
Oh, you didn't remove the restart prompt.
I know.
Oh, yeah.
I will. It's a countdown until the end.
Countdown for the session.
Yeah.
Nice.
So if we go into Intune, so here you can add multiple tenants if you have multiple tenants. If you have a test tenant and a production tenant, if you are an MSP, then you can all add them there. So let's choose our added tenant. Here we have the AMP template. If you have specific command lines that you want to use for Service UI, for example, then you can set those here, and they will be applied every time you use them. As well, you can set specific assignments for groups. If you have a test group that you always use for testing, just select it here, and each time you can upload a new package, it will use that group. So let's select our package, press Add Package. So it read all the data that we specified. It read our description. It read the notes that we added, my notes. It sets the installation command lines, uninstall command lines. We have the icon. So everything is set. You can also modify the categories if we want to. And now we can just press Upload to Intune. And one more benefit that this has over uploading from the portal is that it will use your whole internet speed. By default, the Intune portal is limited to 30 or 40 megabits per second. If you have a gigabit connection, this will use your whole gigabit connection. For big packages, this really makes a huge difference. When it is done, we have a link here, so you can directly open the package in Intune. If you want to make any further changes that were not done yet. So let's go to the properties, and we can see that everything that we have added to our package is applied here, and as easy as that.
Yeah, so with Master Wrapper, you can actually adapt to V4 really quickly. You can create your own template, V4 template for you, just opening Master Wrapper, filling the configuration, how you see fit for it with the new settings, and save the template. That's it. Yeah, and it basically lets you package faster in PSAppDeployToolkit and let you standardize your whole packaging process. As we did it like for many customers, and we suggest that even simple MSI should be wrapped in PSADT. And we have a community version where you can do all the basic things there. But with the paid version, you can do more, like creating your own templates and access to the script explorer, so get the next level. But basic stuff is there, and you can actually explore how V4 looks like and learn from, actually you can learn here as well in the free version by clicking around and then seeing in Script Explorer what actually we did. So all that is visible. Yeah, so if you want to try it, everything is available in our website. You can book a demo with us. You can get a trial for 30 days. Pricing is all visible on our website. And yeah, and I suggest to subscribe to our newsletter where we inform about packaging news and our updates, what we have released. So, yeah, thank you. And maybe you have some questions.
Yeah, thank you.